This is juicy. On Wednesday, Wayfair asked for evidence submitted by Blake to be unsealed, specifically the audio tape of Steve Sarowitz. Now, as you'll see here in this second paragraph, the materials concern an alleged recording made by the witness of a conversation with defendant Steve Sarowitz without his consent. Plaintiff seeks to seal the audio recording in its entirety, although she purported to selectively quote from it a portion of her inner brief in the public unsealed version she filed with the court. Lively boldly claims she placed the substance of the relevant information from Exhibit 1 in the public record, flatly ignoring that the person recorded was without his consent. Mr. Sarowitz should be allowed to have the entire recording made public to ensure accuracy and provide context.
What if I told you the biggest scandal in Hollywood right now isn't about a box office flop or a celebrity breakup, but about a secretly recorded rant that could destroy two of the industry's most famous names, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds? This isn't just gossip, it's a high-stakes courtroom drama involving leaked audio, accusations of retaliation, and a fight over credibility that could reshape the public image of one of Hollywood's golden couples. At the center of it all is a phrase, two dead bodies. Depending on who you ask, it's either a metaphor about reputations in Hollywood or a sinister threat twisted into a weapon. So why is Blake Lively so desperate to keep the full truth sealed? And how did Justin Baldoni turn this legal war into a battle that could flip the narrative completely? Let's break down everything. It all started when Blake Lively dropped a bombshell in court. Her legal team presented a snippet from a private 2024 meeting with Wayfair Studios co-founder Steve Sarowitz. According to her, Sarowitz raged that if she or Reynolds ever crossed the line, there would be two dead bodies. That phrase alone was enough to dominate headlines. Tabloids painted it as a mafia-style threat, with Lively's lawyers using it to paint her as a victim of a ruthless retaliation scheme. But here's the catch. What the public heard wasn't the full recording. Only tiny cherry-picked snippets chosen by Lively's team were shared in court. And when you strip words out of context, they sound terrifying. That's exactly what made this story go viral. But as we'll soon see, context changes everything. Justin Baldoni's legal team quickly fired back. They demanded the entire transcript of the meeting be unsealed, not just the fragments Lively's camp waved around. Why? Because the bigger picture shows that Sarowitz wasn't talking about killing anyone. He was making a harsh business metaphor, comparing industry survival to being dead in Hollywood. In fact, Sarowitz himself has spoken out, clarifying that his words were about reputations, careers, and survival in the brutal entertainment world. Yet Lively seized on those three words, two dead bodies, and turned them into a courtroom weapon. Here's the bigger question. If the full transcript truly supported her case, why wouldn't she want it released? Why fight so hard to keep it hidden? This isn't just about one phrase. It's about a strategy. From the very beginning, Lively positioned herself as the fragile victim standing up against powerful men. She filed lawsuits accusing Baldoni and his allies of harassment, retaliation, and orchestrating a smear campaign. Her lawyers presented emotional soundbites, edited testimony, and dramatic storytelling, the perfect recipe to grab media attention. And for a while, it worked. Headlines focused on her narrative. Social media lit up with sympathy. But Baldoni wasn't about to let her control the story unchallenged. He accused her of manipulating evidence, twisting words, and turning the courtroom into a stage. And then he made his biggest move yet. He brought in Alexandra Shapiro. If you don't know the name Alexandra Shapiro, you're about to. She's one of the toughest defense lawyers in America, a former federal prosecutor, a clerk for Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a woman who's gone toe-to-toe with some of the most high-profile cases in recent history. Her clients? People like Sean Diddy Combs and FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried. Shapiro is known for dismantling cases built on shaky evidence and exposing manipulative tactics in court. By adding Shapiro to his legal team, Baldoni sent a clear message. This isn't about survival anymore, it's about offense. For Blake Lively, this was a nightmare scenario. Instead of facing a standard Hollywood legal battle, she was now up against one of the sharpest legal minds in the country, and that changed the tone of the entire case. But Lively didn't back down. Instead, she doubled down, using one of the oldest tricks in the book, weaponizing the court system against her opponent's lawyers. Her team filed sanctions against Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, not once, but twice. Why? Because he dared to speak out in the press and call out the cracks in her story. They accused him of violating a protective order by sharing details and giving interviews. In reality, Friedman wasn't making baseless claims, he was challenging her credibility. One moment in particular drew attention. Friedman joked about wanting to depose Lively at Madison Square Garden, sell tickets, and live stream the whole thing. It was clearly sarcasm, mocking the circus atmosphere around the case. But Lively's camp pounced, spinning it into proof of bias and misconduct. To outsiders, it looked like desperation. Every time Baldoni's side gained momentum, Lively ran to the judge with complaints, more about silencing her critics than proving her case. And the more she did it, the weaker she appeared. While all this chaos unfolded in the courtroom, Blake Lively was playing a very different game in public. On Instagram, she posted about watercolor sketchbooks, peaceful hobbies, and finding calm in the middle of stress. She gushed about how painting helped her relax, how it was cheaper than therapy, and how she loved quiet moments. At first glance, it looked wholesome, a relatable celebrity coping with stress. But dig deeper and it looked like PR strategy, a calculated distraction from the storm of lawsuits and accusations. Because behind the curated posts, reports were surfacing that her marriage to Ryan Reynolds was under serious strain. Sources described good days and bad days, with Reynolds struggling to keep things steady while Blake spiraled under pressure. The Instagram filter was cracking. No watercolor book could cover up the reality playing out in court. Justin Baldoni wasn't just defending himself anymore. He was going after Blake and Ryan directly. He filed a $400 million countersuit accusing them of defamation and extortion. Sure, it was dismissed on a technicality, but the filing itself sent a message. He was willing to swing hard. Ryan Reynolds wasn't just a supportive husband standing by Blake's side. He was named in filings as an active participant in the alleged smear campaign. Together, Lively and Reynolds looked like a tag team trying to destroy Baldoni's career. But instead of crumbling under Hollywood's power couple, Baldoni doubled down. He hired powerhouse lawyers. He pushed for transparency. He demanded the full transcript be made public. And suddenly, the cracks in their golden image were impossible to ignore. So where does this war go from here? Right now, all eyes are on March 2026, when a federal jury is set to decide who's telling the truth. The stakes couldn't be higher. If the full Sowitz recording is unsealed and proves that Blake twisted the context, her entire retaliation story could collapse overnight. That would leave her exposed not as a victim, but as someone who weaponized the court of public opinion to destroy a man she couldn't control. And then there's Taylor Swift. Will she actually be forced to testify because of her close ties to Blake? Or was her name used as a smokescreen in this lawsuit? Either way, the implications are explosive. This isn't just about one movie anymore. It's about reputations, careers, and survival in Hollywood's brutal power games. And right now, Justin Baldoni isn't backing down. With heavyweight attorneys at his side, he's not just fighting for his reputation, he's fighting to expose what he claims is Hollywood's biggest lie. The final act hasn't played out yet, but when it does, it could change everything we thought we knew about Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and the price of power in Hollywood. So, what do you think? Is Blake Lively truly the victim she wants the world to believe? Or is Justin Baldoni about to expose one of the most calculated smear campaigns in modern Hollywood? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what side you're on. And if you want every leaked filing, every courtroom twist, and every PR stunt exposed, make sure you hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay locked in. Because this scandal is just getting started, and the ending might be more shocking than anyone expects.